Hello and welcome to Baatchit with Cafemutual. My name is Suhail Chawla and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. Vishranth Suresh.
Hi, Suhail.
He's the co-founder and CEO of AssetPlus. It's nice to meet you as well, Vishranth. And today you're at the first ever SIF Summit in India, the Cafemutual SIF Summit 2026. You've been around, you've been speaking at your session, you've been meeting a lot of distributors. What are your key takeaways from this event?
So, Suhail, definitely an amazing session overall. Very vibrant, very high energy, a lot of information and knowledge being shared. I'm very sure all the conversations that we've had are going to be really useful for the attendees. So, my session in particular was a lot on the sellability of SIFs, right? Especially given that it's a new product that is coming up and there's no visible track record yet. It's going to take some time for the numbers to show. But still, is there a place for SIF in customers' portfolios? How do you represent? What are the questions that customers usually ask? So these were some of the questions that I had to address. And I think I had a great time answering questions from Mr. Prem. Hopefully the audience had good takeaways.
I'm sure they did. And I'd like to ask you to give 3 points that you feel will be useful for distributors to learn from your session.
Sure. So number one, what I would say is SIF is a very well-regulated product. So unlike a lot of other products in the industry which have the risk of not being very well-regulated where accidents can happen, I think SEBI has done a good amount of work to ensure and assess the need for such a product before being able to introduce a product itself. So first recommendation I would say, please keep yourself upskilled. So understand how SIFs work, have your knowledge levels high on SIF, because it's a fairly sophisticated product with a lot of derivative strategies also being deployed and so many different categories of SIFs, so which means different set of customers will have different kind of product requirements. So number one is it is important for distributors to be updated on SIFs as a whole, not just from the perspective of understanding when to recommend to customers, but given the amount of positive noise SIFs make, customers themselves might start asking you about SIFs as well. So that's what I would say is number one. And number two, also invest time and effort into researching the kind of SIF products you would recommend, because as I said, it's a very large open category and there are hybrid SIFs, there are equity SIFs. So what kind of products you will recommend, what kind of strategy you will recommend to your customer will require a lot of deep thoughts before you decide and take it forward. And number three is you should also consider creating awareness amongst your customers, because as much as customers might be wanting to understand and invest in a new product, it's quite sophisticated, right? So there are covered calls involved, there are protected puts involved, it's a long short strategy. So these all have their place in customers' portfolios over a period of time. It can potentially deliver much better risk adjusted returns. But how are you going to not just understand all of this, but break it down very simply for a layman investor to understand? Is going to be very critical for them to trust in you as well as trust in the product and invest. So these are the three takeaways I would say.
I'm sure our audience appreciated you putting those across in such a nice and easy to understand manner. Now, Suresh, you're the CEO of a company called AssetPlus. For MFDs watching this who are unfamiliar with AssetPlus, could you explain the rationale behind your company, what it does, and how it can specifically help in mutual fund distributors expand their SIF business?
Sure, Sway. So AssetPlus, if we had to define ourselves, we aim to be the next generation tech platform for mutual fund distributors, right? So there's fundamentally a huge shift in the mutual fund distribution ecosystem that's been very evident over the past 5 to 10 years. COVID has only accelerated.
Right.
Number one, all of us know tech is no longer good to have. It has become must have, not just from the economic viability of a distribution business, but also customers require and demand much more transparency moving forward, right? So being able to give a phenomenal digital and tech experience for yourselves, for your business to grow and scale, as well as your customers, becomes very important. So AssetPlus aims to be the best next gen digital platform, where if a mutual fund distributor works with AssetPlus, all of the tech and operational requirements that is required for them to scale their business gets taken care of by us. So fundamentally, we believe that a mutual fund distributor is best positioned to focus more of their time in talking to customers, acquiring customers, managing investments, and engaging and creating awareness among customers. Anything apart from keeping the customer in mind in terms of frequent engagement, which is all the possibly unproductive tasks in terms of facilitating operations, looking at tech, how do I go about marketing, all of these, we believe it is best offloaded to a platform, and that platform is what I expect AssetPlus is. So as on today, we have 20,000 mutual fund distributors across the country who are empaneled with us. So we are widely recognized as amongst the fastest growing digital platform for MFDs. And yes, I believe the future is bright for MF distributors and also for AssetPlus.
It's pretty impressive, Suresh. And I'd like to ask you, what are 3 things distributors can do? I know, of course, you're the CEO of AssetPlus, but in general, what are 3 things MFDs can do to get into 2026, to advance themselves digitally?
So number one is, I would say, the first point is what you have just answered. So advance themselves digitally, because digital no longer means having an app for the customer. And this used to be a big thing a decade back. Now it's a norm, right? In fact, if you do not have the digital equipment for you to be able to scale your business, it might become very difficult for you to scale and exist in the current margin environment as well. So that becomes mandatory. Number 2, upskilling yourself in terms of not just mutual fund products, but having a holistic view of what all the products that exist in the industry today is going to be very critical, because the role of an MFD has changed from 10 years back, where it was an information supplier, to today an information filter. So 10 years back, customers might not even be able to know what their NAVs of their investments are. Today, there are 10 different sources of information attacking the customer. So what MFDs can position themselves as is, can I be the most reliable source of information that I'm able to communicate with my customer? Else, it's very easy for the customer to go astray in terms of their financial goals and their investment journeys. So not just being digitally equipped, upskilling yourself, and number 3, putting yourself in the shoes of the customer also, because the customer needs are evolving, the customer risk profiles are evolving, how the new generation of customers think are very different from how the previous generation used to think, right? So new customers are going to ask you about what is the value you add, why should I invest in regular, why not invest elsewhere, I have gotten my portfolio reviewed by some app, so how am I going to ensure that your portfolio beats this? So a lot of questions will be asked by the next generation of customers. So rather than shying away, putting yourself in the shoes of the customer and enhancing yourself and equipping yourself to be able to better position what your overall value is in front of a customer is going to be very critical.
It understood. Now, Vishranth, you've spoken to a lot of MFDs, and you've spoken to a lot of MFDs who may be more technologically inclined, some who may not be so technologically inclined. What are 3 misconceptions that you've noticed in the MFDs you've spoken to, something that maybe they should leave behind when they keep advancing through the year?
Okay, so first I would say is, understandably so, there is usually a bit of a fear in the minds of MFDs as to, are there way too many regulatory changes? And is this going to impact our business, or will MFDs be required at all? So data very clearly says otherwise. So I was part of the MFD ecosystem way back in 2018 also, when the upfront commissions were banned, the revenue came down. But if you look at the number of MFDs who had more than 100 crores in AUM, right? From 2018 till today, 2026, in 8 years, it has gone up by 5 times, 500% jump. So as long as the customer ensures that the MFD ensures that they have the end customer in mind and they are delivering superior value and they are being extremely customer centric, the need for an MFD in the ecosystem will only continue to increase. So I do hear a lot of MFDs asking, okay, now there is a regulation, TER has been broken down into BER. So are my commissions going to come down? What is the financial viability? So this business is going to make a huge amount of money for the MFD as well, if they sustain, do good for the customer, and they are able to focus on volumes. So in this era, it is not possible for an MFD to have 50 to 60 customers and then be able to make a great business out of it. But how are they looking at corporatizing? How are they looking at structuring their business, being very clear about their value proposition and enabling themselves to add value to hundreds of customers? And that volume will continue to increase tremendously, because once a customer has a trust, he or she is going to invest more as they earn in career. He or she is going to refer more of their friends and family to you, and their portfolio itself is going to grow because of the M2M gains that are visible in the AUM. So it's a wonderful business to be in, and a lot of MFDs feel, are regulators after me? Are they going, are MFDs not going to exist anymore? I definitely feel that's not the case.
Okay. Well, thank you for your insights.
Thank you, sir. Nice chatting with you.
Right. Well, that's it for this time. As you saw, we got many insights from this leader of the industry. So we'll catch you next time. And until then, keep yourself tuned to the YouTube channel, and you'll see many more insights from great minds like Mr. Vishranth Suresh.
Oh, you're being very kind. Thank you.
All right.